Good evening, Husam Al Sharif, and today, 22 September 2025, and I'm recording this explaining few points about the previous post. I am happy to notice some important visits to this platform, on this platform, so I keep the communication clear, few things to avoid the misleading information and so on. But first of all, I would confirm today, after a telephone contact with my formal contact person by this healthcare provider, the telephone number, the person on the other side of this telephone number is not the contact person himself, but a frauder. And since I was in contact with the same person and I was following the videos and everything, this is happening without his own knowledge. He doesn't know that about that. Probably I cannot know what is happening in Italy, but the person on the telephone is not the contact person himself, and this person exhausted me last 2 years ago with fraudulent reports, conversation with the formal specialist, claiming things, and the crook healthcare provider from that time did not, and I still do not know what did this crook frauder told this madam. So she further stalked me and followed me with this crooked proceedings. That was 2 years ago. Today, in the same way, the person also, what did he say? He should be followed. I have zero contact with him, nothing with him. And I know about the scam already on his telephone number, and I warned him. And I should warn him again in Arabic, hopefully. I'm not sure he is able to watch what I publish, but the contact person used by this crooked healthcare provider is not the same contact person. Someone is calling from end of the world, making claims, and I ask him a question. There is a pre-agreement with him about something that he should do in these situations. He has no idea about. The person on the telephone. Another thing, he is questioning also my honor, my integrity, about my belief, about my religion before, speaking things about 10 years ago. So indeed, I'm 100% sure. And the voice first, in the beginning of the voice, they fixed their voice to appear in a different way. But during conversation, and I let it flow, I let the conversation flow with the specialist who were speaking, and the voice then, he cannot control, nobody can control the fraud for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, quarter. This is difficult, and he can easily, with each minute counts in this situation. So the crooked work here costing me hundreds of thousands of euros, charge 20,000 to 20,000 to 20,000. This is the situation was last year, and this will happen again. But a frauder on the telephone, scamming, cloning, copying my brother's telephone, making this possible. And I explained to this healthcare provider in a text message, and it was spoken with me. She confirmed she received that this telephone is scammed. Please do not call him. And this is the only one contact number which I have. So again, the contact person is heated with the fraud and scam function, identity crime, holding me with these people who they should be de-licensed. I cannot believe this. Big registered professionals prescribing medications, prescribing treatment, costing hundreds of thousands of euros for this scam. So these should be de-licensed. I as a professional, I can never do that. prescribing treatment for a person, medications for a person, because he is experiencing telephone scams. This is different than cyber, but the situation is worse, dangerous. These scammers fix intercept the appointment and fix fast contact moments, normalizing themselves in the eyes of the victim. And once the person is on outside the travel, boom, they jump on the ground. I was contacting them, help me, please, sending the text to make sure via bank transfer. They did not respond, as if they reported the bank account itself. Well, this I suspect, I don't know about reports exactly, but I noticed this from the reaction of the office where I paid. Been asked, not normal questions. So I'm calling and I know if I'm calling my brother, for example, he won't hesitate a moment to transfer me, supporting me. I'm telling him, I want to return back to the Netherlands. Please send me the train ticket. So, and that was the first week after my travel, the first 10 days after. So they didn't. They forced me to take another decisions and they changed everything. So these scammers, and according to my experience with this, they are already existed, all of them in the Netherlands. They are acting from the Netherlands. And this is also, during one of the conversation, he said that. So they are pre-existed, active in the Netherlands. Once the person is traveled, they took over everything, holding documents. This is first point. And here the cover-up show continues. Well, I explained to this healthcare provider, please, this telephone number is scammed. You are contacting person, taking agreement, taking decisions based on a wish of a scammer. So please do not contact him. He told me the law and the fucking law, I couldn't be disrespectful, but fuck this law, allowing you to fix a fraud case against me, to follow me based on fraudulent information on a crook criminal, identity criminal, very bad person in his reactions, in his also the way he blackmails or imply things. Very dirty personality. You are taking decisions. And I told him, you should not, according to the law, you should not disclose information to this number. But they fixed the number in a way that they wish for it. And in any normal institutions, any normal offices, the response is respectful. Should the common sense say, yeah, this is a scam, there is a scam on this telephone, then we do not contact this number. But no, they are, and here the situation should be taken seriously, because there is this is not about just calling a scam number. No, they are involved in this, fixing this, and this allow them to get paid hundreds of thousands of euros. If they did that with one person, with 10%, this is €1 million. So huge income they get. They exhausted me with corrections, with the fraud reports, and this happens. Unbelievable. Once you submit complaint, once you speak to the police, specific case, specific information, once there is attention from officials in the society, they do that. So I offered these frauders that why wouldn't you be real brothers instead of doing that, for example? But I cannot do that. By allowing this contact, I legitimize a frauder against the interest of the victim. This could be used against the victim. So I do not change my belief that, yeah, this can, but I cannot do something to harm my brother. And I read and revised the report of the specialist after this conversation. He is recording the information, enabling the healthcare institution based on this. Yeah, he should be followed. He should be, and he is the content which he spoke implies hate reactions, and I realized him from earlier contact. He was intercepting the contacts with already. So the sound is familiar. I heard it well, but allow the conversation a little bit. It is different voice. So the telephone is copied, and I call Mahmoud, please change your telephone number and do that secretly, and never contact the Netherlands. Because the moment you call the number, infected number, the new number of yours is known by the other on the other telephone. So it's compromised. The contact is compromised. You cannot reach, and this act is designed in a way that you will not be able to reach your home country if you are outside. They scam all the contact list. They exclude the contact, so you are not able to reach the institution. In the same way, when you send the post, the beveiliger collect the post, you are not exist while you are at home. For example, I was in my home in Ellisland 10 years, and suddenly when I walked out, I'm doing my online orders, everything online. When I noticed the problem and I went in the location, they registered my order as an online order, presenting me as different person in the administration, the telephone company administration. Suddenly my name changed. I used to be Hussam Al-Sharif, a new value unknown. But I'm stating this not only based on this evidence taken from the computer, but on what I witnessed during the order. But I saw it because it happened again and again. When I come, he walked behind me. He took the seller on the side. He showed him something, and he told him online, and yeah. So, and this can be verified, but this is not the case of this record right now. The important thing, I explained what has happened on this during this telephone call. The report summarizing this conversation, he's taking the claims of this caller, scammer, as real, as coming from the same concerned people. And here, there could be scam, but there is a scam, and this is known also by this institution, and they are involved in this, facilitating this. But it's claimed as a scam, I assume, because nobody allow or protect an identity crime in this way. But what is unknown, and I explained in the text, the fixed shocking event, and I summarized and I identified what I mean by shocking event. Fixed event presenting a frauder to the victim, creating shocking event, using some makeup works. It's easy to expose, and yeah, you realize the face look alike, but also the body is different. So there is makeup in this incident. In the second incident, which is probably, and as I understood, is claimed as the real meeting. It is fixed appointment as a real meeting, and warning. They warn about, yeah, we are worried about this, what will happen. Claiming that, yeah, I may develop a reaction or act aggressive against the frauder while meeting him, for example. They enable themselves the cover up to what is to come. Then of course, you know the person, you check him, and each minute counts. He's trying to move. I held him. I asked him to be. Then they fake emotions even, and from this behavior, you cannot understand, but a serious identity subject, identity harm, identity theft is convincing you that, yeah, he is the person. And this is not for me. This is for what they claim in the eyes of the authorities. Yeah, this is normal, but we were worried because we created already this shocking event. So warning, this is serious. This is, and I explained this many times, this is not as claimed as in a way that is known by the others. No, they are dedicating and covering up a serious criminal act, fixing these situations and using during this last meeting a security equipment. I preserve information now. I'm in their hands. I'm not afraid. They won't scare me a bit. I used to fear this, but the way and their approach, misleading the authorities, lying, claiming, yeah, I know, pretending to be smart, pretending to be predictive. Yeah, this will happen. This will happen. So, and they throw the possibilities, their cover-ups. So, in a very how to call it? I wouldn't speak much now, but yeah, they throw their coming cover-up. So you say, yeah, because we did this, he responded like this. Well, stop these crooks. If you are watching, stop these crooks. Do not enable them to do anything. To stop them for a while. Then you will understand. But leaving the situation like this is unacceptable. It's not just yeah, a game or program or something to tolerate with it. No, this is a sponsored work motivated by hate and racism and well, a radical act exhausted me 3 years on almost weekly, daily basis when I anyway. This is the first point I from this telephone contact today, and they may claim, and this is what they said during one conversation. I understand they would do that, so claiming that I do not realize my own family members, my own relatives. So this is some crazy problems, head problems, cognitive problems. I realize all the people around me, and even the therapists, even the Burgmeester, even the policy agents. I realized all the people, and this document shows that I do not have cognitive problems. So what they are doing, they are abusing the healthcare trajectory to enable themselves responsibility or something. This is if I exist really in this institution, because when I first came here, the whole file was deleted. So I'm happy there is a file now, but that was deleted, and she is they are doing that as if they are starting the procedure from zero. There's some contradictions in the document. So anyway, the situation is not fine, and this is let's keep it here right now. The second point, yesterday I received this document. It's a draft document, a draft report, unfinished report by the same a professional specialist, and in this report I asked this same person, same specialist, to make these corrections which I wrote in 7 reports. 5 were done. One, I do not remember if I submitted the 6th one, and the 7 is unfinished in for sure, because I wanted, before finishing this report, to check if there is fraudulent report, for example, on the police database. So I asked for inzag in the policy dossier, and I was waiting for this. Then I traveled. When I returned back, this has happened. They didn't allow me. They didn't allow me a week for a next week appointment. They came boom like this. Anyway, I asked her to, because it is difficult to share, for example, 5 reports. Now, for example, it's more difficult to share with you 5 reports showing 5 evidence of corrections and everything unquestionable. Asking her, according to the related article, VGBO, record this in your administration. Do not repeat this in your care plan. Do not, this is what I stating beyond doubt. She cannot say no. Logic, in terms of sense and nonsense, she cannot say no. The report which I received is a draft, is the very first draft of this question. Agreement was, when I returned in Germany, we finished this report. I cited from this report in a post a few days ago, and this suddenly was given to me as post letter. The person thought that this is a post for me, but I did not ask it. I asked it a long time ago, and I received it already. This is printed out and probably researched based on what I published. So I understand this could be for a reason. So I referred in writing in a previous post to the corrections. There are 5 correction reports I sent to the Secretariat, to the Public Ministry, Public Prosecution. They referred this to the advocate. The advocate submitted another application by also the Open Bar Ministry. So I refer to these corrections, to these reports, showing how the fraud is dedicated here. They are based on this fraud, on scam, based on scam call via telephone. They enable themselves responsible on a person. This can happen to anyone, to a judge, to the king. They can do that with everyone. The scammer calls, but just he knows the person, he copied the telephone and do that. Then they can compromise anyone. And this is maybe their secret, that they wouldn't, I don't know, but this can happen to anyone. This report shows, unfinished draft, shows 2, as I said, 3 or 2. In numbers, there is 3 numbers, but it's not written well. I understand this is a draft, and I'm supposed to read it and make the corrections. Now, I don't know how can this be done. She made decisions and everything, and she brought me here. And what has happened is more like kidnapping than, for example, a real care action. Because according to my understanding, all this, let's keep it without much. Now, these corrections, the first one, about the threats were sent to the king and the prime minister. There was prosecution. They followed me, and I noticed I've been under surveillance without understanding why. And I've been asked by stranger, did you send threatening letter to the king and to the government? I said, what? Government? Why would I threat the government? It's claimed in the report that I sent threat letters to the king and the prime minister, and stressing in extra editions, in extra comments, that IVM threat letters, repeating that in a way. Of course, the Zorgplan, the reader will look at this. Well, if this is a client of mine, I won't leave him. Indeed, it's painted in a way picturing a normal person as a moment. Picturing a normal person, a professional, and a colleague. And I do not believe this. They are doing that to a colleague of them, picturing him as a junkie, as a dangerous person, as a person who threatened the king and the prime minister, so they enable themselves responsibility using this fraud. Then this report shows this correction. They used these claims in the court, in the public prosecution, to enable themselves. But their own file states, for example, on an earlier date, that this step involvement of the National Threats Management Service. They kept an eye on me, and I doubt they saw me. But it says they kept an eye on me during this period. IVM threat letters. I would threaten the king. In fact, in my opinion, the king, he speaks the voice of compassion. The prime minister is the leader of my political party, former political party, the FFD. So why would I threaten the prime minister? In fact, there was a letter, more than letter, I sent to the king and to copies to the prime minister, asking their help, to help my brother. That was the question at that time, according to my realization to what they did themselves. So, and when been asked, did you send a letter to the king, for example, I said, yes, I did. I showed them the letter. I showed them the more than a letter was presented and shown to this health care providers. And the advocate also in Germany said, there is no threats in this. Then said, why did they do that? Involving me with the king, involving me with the prime minister, why would they do that? Of course, to enable themselves, they were able to win the case. If I'm a judge and I see what they wrote, I would say, yeah, of course I would, enable them. But the report itself shows that this step was procedural, a procedure to happen to anyone who sent letters to high-level official in the society. On the ground of misformulation of this arrangement, procedure, they were able to enable themselves, and they did that again 4th of September. This is the first correction. There is a report, also detailed report, showing the evidence, showing more information. It is included in this draft, which I cited from a few days ago. And I cited for a reason, because I thought this is their own words, their own confessions, their own realization for their own mistakes. But of course, my reports, my correction reports include more clear and unquestionable evidence. So they are written better than this. This is their own words. The second correction, it has to do with this comment on the police computer, including 4 things confused. They turned me into a totally different world, totally different picture, using this information leak problem, which I showed the example from the complaint report. And disabling any access to police protection, to opportunity for an official conversation with a police agent. I couldn't have a decent formal conversation with a police agent all this period. Their first, and the response is here as if the police agent knows, but she knows what about, for example, the reason of the complaint. They know everything. This is what I noticed. They've been told that there is nothing on hand. There is strafbarkeit, because they are doing that themselves. They predict, he will do this because we know we did that. So stop them, disable them